Hey Rasmanites, welcome back. Okay, before we get started with today's episode, just a couple quick things here. Gotta plug my new group channel, Super Awesome Sauce. The link will be over here to the right in the description box. And I also got to give a big shout out and big thank you to my buddy Eric, Dollhouse Boy 77, for giving me yet another shout out. So in the course of a week, that makes Civilian Snowman, Zero Nizerac, and Dollhouse Boy 77, sorry Eric, who have all shouted me out. So it's awesome for me to know that there are people that like what I'm doing well enough to try to get me noticed more. But again, if you want more exposure to me and want to hear me talk about things that I wouldn't talk about here, check out Super Awesome Sauce, my new group channel, along with the Cigarette Burns. Okay, that being said, today's episode is the overall review of Dollhouse Season 1. Of course, the Comic-Con Edition Blu-ray. That's all coming up right now on the Razman's Reality. Haha! Bet you weren't expecting that, were you? That's right, I may not have my HD capabilities back yet, but we can do the full show thanks to Adam working on the drag and drop. So thank you, Polite Mediocrity. Now, this is the overall review, as I said and as the titles just said, of the Dollhouse Season 1 Comic-Con set. This will be episode 2 in the Dollhouse series, which will be followed by an episode by episode breakdown. Actually episode 3 technically, because I forgot the unboxing was 2 parts. But it'll be the 3rd episode in the Dollhouse series, and this will be the one that'll be safest enough for you to watch if you've never seen the show, because this is just an overall review of the set and the specs and everything, nothing about the show whatsoever. Then we're going to have the episode by episode breakdown, and the last episode of the series will be talking about the Dollhouse feel of the show and all its characters. Because if you know anything about a Joss Whedon project, you know that his characters are what make his shows. So that'll all be in a new playlist, which will be open today, called The Dollhouse is Real. So that's where this entire series will be when you want to go back and view it again at a later date upon completion, or after you've seen the show. Okay, so this one has the first 5 episodes of the series, and on the very first episode, or the rebooted pilot, if you will, that aired on the network, you have commentary from Joss Whedon, the show's creator, and of course its star and executive producer Elijah Duskue, where they have some very entertaining insight into that particular episode. I won't get into it again because this has nothing to do with the review of the show. It's going to be spoiler free, but some very, very insightful commentary on that first episode entitled Ghost. This too has the next 5 episodes of the series, and that's it. A bare bone. Actually, I misspoke. It has the next 5 episodes of the series, but on the first episode on disc 2, episode 6 overall, it has commentary from Joss Whedon, and that of course is the episode entitled Man on the Street, which, if you're a fan of the show and you follow things, Joss Whedon actually considers episode 6, Man on the Street, to be the real pilot of the show, because that's when he feels the show picked up its steam and found its wings. I tend to disagree slightly with Josh, because I think that the first 5 episodes were just as enjoyable, but he himself thinks that that was the first time that he and the network meshed as far as their vision of what Dollhouse was. So he considers this a sort of a third pilot overall for the show. What do I mean by third? Well, if you missed the unboxing videos and haven't seen them yet and are going to go back and see them and don't know, there was actually a original pilot, which we'll talk about later. But again, there's commentary from Josh Whedon on episode 6, Man on the Street, on disc 2. And disc 3 has the remaining 2 episodes that aired on the air during Dollhouse Season 1, as well as the elusive episode 13, Epitaph 1, which of course was cut from Fox for network airing, and also has some really insightful commentary on why that episode was cut, why it's a completely different feel from any episode on the show, from the writers of the show, because some of Josh's team actually wrote and produced Epitaph 1, so it's some awesome commentary there. This 3 also has the original unaired pilot, Echo, that we just talked about a minute ago, which I actually really enjoyed, but again, I'm not going to get into it right now because this is a spoiler-free version of the episode of the series, excuse me. Got a little tongue-tied there. But it has episode 13, the unaired original pilot, Echo, as well as a bunch of behind-the-scenes featurettes. Well, not a bunch, but I'm looking at the back to remind myself here. I know, I'm sorry I'm bad. I've only been through this once, but it has 4 behind-the-scenes featurettes. Making Dollhouse, Coming Home, which is a really good featurette about Josh Whedon and his crew, and the way his crew is always like his family. I really enjoyed that one. I enjoyed all these, but that one was really cool. So Making Dollhouse, Coming Home, Finding Echo, A Private Engagement, and Designing the Perfect Dollhouse. So Making Dollhouse is just what it says. It is a look at making the show. Coming Home, I just told you about that one. A Private Engagement is about, do you believe the Dollhouse is real, and if it was real, what would you do with it? And Designing the Perfect Dollhouse is just a personal tour of the Dollhouse set from Josh Whedon himself. So that's the basic bare bones breakdown of what is on the Comic-Con set. Now, I mentioned that, excuse me, my hair itches a little bit here, sorry, but I mentioned that we're going to be doing, or excuse me, that I was going to be updating you all. Sorry, I'm getting a little tongue-tied here because I'm looking at the clock and I'm a bit crunched, so this is going to be rushed a little bit. But I mentioned that I was going to update you guys, and yes, you can get both episode 13, Epitaph 1, and the unaired pilot Echo on the regular season version of the set. So if you want to pick up the regular DVD and Blu-ray, you can be safe. You're not missing any content. The only limited edition stuff about this limited edition was the different covering, the insert, which was that thing I pulled off the front. At the time I didn't realize it was an insert, but that's what it was. And of course the letter from Josh Whedon. But as far as overall content, it's actually pretty cool, because if you missed out on Con, you're not missing anything on this great show. So I highly recommend picking it up. Beautiful, beautiful picture and sound. I was spoiled. I have HD cable, so I did see this show in 720p originally, because that's what my cable goes to, but it was an even vast improvement on 1080p HD. And if you know anything about Josh Whedon, as a director and filmmaker, you know that he's an extremely visual person. So his shows are all about popping to the eye and pleasing to the eye. So it's no mystery at all that Dollhouse is such a visual show. So if you have Blu-ray, if there was ever a show you need to pick up on Blu-ray, it is Dollhouse. If you don't, I still recommend checking it out on DVD. With that, hope you guys enjoyed the overall review of Dollhouse Season 1. This, as always, is reality according to the Razman and Razman style. It's not just a catchphrase, but a way of life.